The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio, sponsored by the University of Phoenix. Our podcast is hosted by Mesa Chamber of Commerce CEO Sally Harrison. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business podcast.
Hi, I'm Sally Harrison, president of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and today in our podcast studio we have chamber member Jerem Morris. And Jerem, you are with DataTek.
Yes.
The owner.
Yes, the
operator, co-founder, all the titles.
All the titles and all the responsibilities.
Yes, nice. Well, thanks for being here. Let's talk a little bit about your background, because I don't know how you got into this world. So talk about your background and what brought you into IT and the cybersecurity arena.
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, thanks for having me here today.
Of course.
I don't think my story is too unique. I think that a lot of IT guys share the same background story.
Yeah.
Of, I was a kid and I worked on computers and I just knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
That's in layman's term, that's my background story. But I remember as a child, my first computer. I remember building my first computer and that experience. I remember the first computer I had, and when it broke and it wasn't working, my parents took me down to the store to help me get the part I needed, and I was sad. I was like 10 or something, right? And on the way back from the store, my father, who ran and still does to this day a landscape company, he said to me as he was driving the car, son, if you get good at this, you could do this for work when you grow up.
Aww.
Or something like that,
yeah.
Right? And I've always known that this is what I wanted to do, that I wanted to own and operate and work shoulder to shoulder with other business owners.
Very cool.
So yeah, I grew up in that household of entrepreneurial spirit. So it wasn't a big leap for me to take that childhood dream into being a business owner. And I actually started my own business when I was 16 years old.
Oh gosh.
It was called Morris IT. Really creative. I made business cards. I made a logo in Microsoft Paint at the time. I even had a little QR code on the back because I was like, this is new and awesome. And this is a long time ago, before anybody really knew what they were.
That's cool.
But I used to go around my neighborhood and put up flyers. Right?
Nice.
And I got my first client because she was running the track at Mountain View High School, which is where I went to school. And she saw it, she grabbed it and called me, and I was like, great, hey, this is working, right?
That's cool.
If you fast forward through all of that into my early 20s, I returned home from my LDS mission, and I was getting married, and I needed a job, and I wanted also to start an actual real business, right? Well, I decided that I needed a job, and that was more important than my dream at that time. So while I was working on the business on the side, I started working for another IT company.
Okay.
And that's where I met my now business partner, Tyler Bodine.
Okay.
Which, ironically, we grew up down the street from each other. We just didn't know each other.
Do you see your flyers?
No. Anyways, and when I worked there, I noticed this pattern here in Mesa, where business owners didn't just need IT support, somebody to fix their phones, or if their internet goes out, right? They needed a technology partner. They needed somebody that could mentor and guide and show them how they can implement technology into their businesses. So about a year after I joined that company, Tyler and I were like, hey, there's more that's needed here. So we started DataTek, and that was just over a decade ago.
Very cool.
Our mission with DataTek is to help small businesses thrive by giving them the same level of IT strategy and cybersecurity as big companies have. But small businesses just don't have the money for it, right?
Sure.
Because we're small businesses,
right.
which we are one of those small businesses. And we knew that it needed a human touch. So we went into this not really knowing the landscape fully, but we're like, no, we don't want a ticket system. We don't want them to call in and get a different tech every single time. We want the human touch. So we really focus on relationships and proactive planning in our business.
Very cool. That's nice because, I mean, people like us that we use computers every day, We don't necessarily need to know how to fix them. We just need to know that they're going to start and be functional and get us from point A to point B with our members. Very cool. Well, talk about the top IT and cybersecurity challenges that you see, like with our small businesses in Mesa. What are we facing these days?
So small businesses are in a unique position because, like I said, they might not have the time or the capital in order to do what a lot of these big companies are doing.
Sure.
But Mesa small business owners are resilient and passionate. And like I said, sadly, they are stretched thin. They often don't have time to stay fully engaged with their cyber risk or even to be aware of what policies they need to have within their company. One of the most common things we hear from small business owners here in the Valley is we are too small to be a target. Hackers don't care about us.
Yeah, it's not true anymore.
Right? It's not true anymore. And the ironic part of that is that actually makes them a more attractive and easier target.
Because they don't have things in place, right?
Exactly. They don't have the defenses in place and they don't have a clear recovery plan for when something does happen.
Yeah.
Because no matter what IT guy tells you, oh, it's 100%, you're never going to go down, that's not the case. That's just not reality. Even we don't tell our clients, hey, you'll never go down, you'll never have a problem. Yeah, we take the proactive approach, but things do happen. Systems do go down. Intruders do get in. Hard drives do crash.
Right.
So having a clear recovery plan and somebody you can rely on is so important. One of the other challenges that small business owners face here in Mesa specifically is this reactive approach to IT. In our industry, we call it break fix. Nobody talks to the IT guy until something's broken. Right?
Yeah.
We don't like that approach because you're stressed, we're stressed. It's hard on everybody.
Sure.
And when it's treated as an afterthought, things break more often. So this creates risk and it creates inefficiency. Where if small to medium businesses would just have a documented, forward-looking IT strategy, then they'd be able to grow and be more secure. And this is true about not just technology, but every aspect of business. If you're being proactive and you're preparing, you're forward-looking in your approach, you're going to be more successful.
All right. Well, talk about how you help small businesses, well, any business, stay secure while keeping tech simple and, you mentioned it, affordable.
So just elaborating a little bit on the proactive approach. We start every partnership out by first listening to the client. Instead of going in with some cookie cutter solution, this is how everybody does it, this is the way it is, we need to listen to them and their needs, because the legal industry is very different than a dentist, different than a CPA, different than a blue collar plumber or something like that. So they all have different needs. And we adjust our solution offering according to that. Our onboarding process starts out with something called a cybersecurity risk assessment.
Okay.
And it's not just technical, it's also human. We interview staff and leadership in order to understand their workflow and how technology is a hindrance to them. From there, we tailor those recommendations, like I mentioned, so they're not cookie cutter solutions. And part of our managed service approach, being proactive, is to take cybersecurity and just bake it into that solution offering instead of trying to add it on later or do a bolt-on approach or thinking about it, after the fact. Cybersecurity is foundational to their overall IT solution. And our pricing stays accessible for small businesses because of our internal efficiencies at DataTek and our proactive management. A compromised email is far more expensive to that company than paying for proactive management of those email accounts. So we have found that the break fix just doesn't work, especially today.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot of businesses that's still their way of doing things.
It is.
Yeah. Well, everybody talks about AI. I mean, it's evolving fast. Like everybody talks about it every day, everywhere you go. How do you see it impacting small businesses? Because I know it's a thing now, right? Everybody's using it or in some form. How's DataTek helping your clients navigate all that?
So small to medium businesses are actually positioned in a spot where they could utilize AI and benefit more than some of these large companies because they are stretched thin. And I know it's getting a lot of attention right now, but so few businesses are actually investing the time to explore and implement those things because they're just stretched thin. The owners are wearing multiple hats. Sometimes it's an owner operator or it's a solo shop, right? In our view, AI should be part of every Mesa business's IT strategy, not just for innovation, but for security and for efficiency.
Okay.
And like you said, AI is everywhere. It's
everywhere.
It's already in play.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, it's here. And business owners are already using it for their email creation, their document creation, their customer service. And they're doing it oftentimes without clear policies in place. Or they have employees that are using it, and they don't know that the employees are using it. So there's a lot to wrap our head around here, which we could probably have a 2-hour discussion
Yes, I'm sure.
on AI, but I'll try to summarize some of the risks for us and our audience. One of the questions that we ask our clients to think about, our fellow small to medium business owners, is my risk greater in doing something with AI than my risk of doing nothing with AI? And from our experience, the risk of doing nothing with AI is far greater to their business than doing something.
Okay.
One of the biggest risks that business owners see is data leakage. This is sharing sensitive information with public tools. And that can be addressed for the most part, as far as training your team, implementing policies, allowing proper tools to be used. And I'd like to invite all business owners to review their cybersecurity insurance policy for any exceptions to their policy concerning AI. Even there's a more pressing issue than even that, though, and that is AI-powered threats. So as all these businesses are trying to embrace AI, so is the other side.
Sure.
And the ironic part is that we at DataTek are using AI to defend you against AI, right? It's this weird double-edged sword.
Sure.
We do that by helping them stay informed, training their teams, and integrating AI into their workflows, which increases efficiency. And as every business owner wants, it saves cost.
Sure,
right?
makes sense.
In short, we see ourselves as your AI translator. We bridge the gap between hype and practical implementation. We actually have a website that we've created just for businesses that are looking for AI help.
Okay.
And it's smbconsulting.ai.
Okay.
So anybody can go there and find us.
Good. I'm guessing there's still probably some businesses out there that don't realize that insurance is even available or that they should have it. Yeah. Unfortunately.
So that's actually part of one of our requirements. If you want to do business with us, we require you to have a cybersecurity insurance policy.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well, talk about what role you hope to play in our Mesa business ecosystem.
Yeah. So Tyler and I, we are local through and through. We were both raised here in Mesa. We both went to Mountain View High School. We both attended ASU. I'm the 6th generation in Arizona. Oh, wow. And my children are the 7th generation. Yeah. My wonderful wife and I have 4 beautiful children. Nice. And hope to have more.
Okay.
We went to school here. We serve here in the community and in our faith. This is us. We know so many people in Mesa, and we really want to raise the standard of IT for the entire valley.
That's great.
We're here for the long run. We really want to be the go-to cybersecurity and AI partner for all Mesa businesses. Beyond our clients, we're working to elevate the standard for everybody by collaborating with other companies, by educating our clients, and through our leadership in that field.
That's awesome. Well, since you mentioned that, how can somebody reach out to you if a listener right now is thinking, it's probably time I do something? How can people find you? How can they get in touch with you? Website?
Yeah, so our primary website is DataTek AZ. That's DATEK AZ.com. And then, of course, you can always just connect with me via LinkedIn. Just search for Jerem Morris.
Jerem.
Yes. Yes. And then, of course, I'm always available for just a quick 20-minute free phone call. No strings attached.
Cool.
It's amazing how many conversations that I have with business owners that are really short, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just really short phone calls. And we identify quick wins for them. Mm-hmm. Easy things that they just haven't thought of, they're not aware of, and it can help prevent big problems for them. So, like I said, no strings attached. I just love connecting with other people.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in. I feel like we have maybe some things to do here at the chamber.
Yeah.
But always good information. Again, your website?
DataTekAZ.com.
Okay.
Tech with a K.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sally.
This has been a Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast. You can find all podcast episodes at iTunes, Spotify, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Content of this podcast is copyright the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, unless otherwise noted.